YouTube, welcome back. That was a pretty long hiatus, kind of crazy. So going into today for oil, I was looking for these stacked previous day's lows to be attacked, but then also have some type of rejection block ideas underneath this opening price. So as we were coming into London, as well as New York in general, by the time we open up at 8 o'clock, you're already clearly on the sell side of the curve, and also just this fake bottom here getting generated is just to crush out longs for people that are thinking this is double, triple bottom, etc. Especially on the push up afterwards. This is able to get a lot of people to think the low is now in. I am now safe to get in. I can get in. Gets crushed out. Deep OTE retracement into an order block, and then runs for, in this case, 15-minute order block up here. But the reason that's so important is if you think about the time and the session and everything like that, and also BPR entry, BPR exit ideas, where all of this down here are trap traders that cannot get out of their short after it's been sinking for so long. Because by this point, everybody that long this is crushed out. Whether they held past this for this type of up move here, or even this bottom wick here to keep going, and then it just uses a super aggressive move against them to crush them out. That's also when people are going to short it. So it's a spot to basically get everybody to do one thing all at once, which is, in this case, sell. Because they're getting longs that tried to long it, the fresh ones that just entered, get them out, which you know you can convert to longs. Stop out everyone else underneath as well, and then just trap short. So it's not necessarily allowed to even retrace like back through this BPR if this is going to be a true SMR, which is why you want to, when the market opens, allow for some type of failure swing idea to occur in here. Very rarely will you have it do the BPR itself, but then very much so not expect a retracement all the way down in here. All of this can be a balanced range. So what was nice about that is you have 9 a.m. open, which is open outcry. That gets swiped. So allowing for failure swing ideas. Again, if they already bought down here, this is them buying right above the exact same place. Ever so close to it. Runs up. Ends up doing a turtle soup back into the range, which was nice. But in terms of the long setup and everything like that, it's also allowing on like a 4-hour to not waste this order block as it's getting hit. So allowing for it to unwind, and then also just because of the sell side of the curve that you're basically on already, you're just hitting a 4-hour for rally gap as well. Or if you want, it looks pretty clean on the 2-hour as well. But this is how you can hit PD arrays that have never been used, for example on the buy side of the curve like this one, still react off it, and then switch somewhere else to go sell side delivery in this case. Because it's likely a higher time frame sell model to buy up or anything like that. And that BPR entry exit idea, you can see it also in here. Same thing. So if you're gonna LR down through this, and then do it again just to trap everybody short, turtle soup, you can LR back through that range. So the idea with kind of like trapping traders and all of that good stuff, biggest thing is like, for example, we were talking about on the 3-minute, just kind of trapping everybody, oil was. The idea behind that, and that type of entry pattern, so to speak, if you really want to go there, you can kind of see it on the indices as well. So it crashing down underneath lows, it buying this up, or if you look kind of like even on a CFD, it buying this up can allow for an extra sell side generation to come underneath it to trip it and then go if it wants to, or do like what oil did today, crash through it and then basically BPR consolidation, aggressive retracement, and then go back through it. So, and that's not to say this price level or anything like that, but that idea in general is it either should just generate extra liquidity and run it immediately, or do that. And so that's really something you can try and look for, especially on like a daily time frame. Going for that idea, and especially when you turn off wicks and only look at bodies, it can become a lot more clear as to what you're looking for and everything like that. Especially in terms of the idea of you only need sell side to sell side delivery. So there's really no reason they can't dip by this, in all honesty. And which I think would be the most comical thing and also a good way to manipulate the month. Unless people think high of the month is in, which I highly doubt. This really is more so an accumulation. As if you think about the time spent and the current price. Again, the time spent and the current price, we're in the exact same price level essentially as Wednesday of last week. So we actually haven't moved. And so if it's one of those things where this is all balanced and they're kind of just doing business here at the lows, they can be inclined to buy it again and continue and set the actual high of the month and then do something else afterwards. Especially if this is all going to be balanced down below. You really want to be open to that idea. And again, especially in RTH charts, like NASDAQ swiping out the low basically, at least it did on futures, swiping the lows. ES hitting FVG at the very, very bottom, so technically SMT. And also the idea behind the dip buy in general, especially on like a 3-minute. Same thing, market's been sinking. Does an FVG exit, traps people, and then will essentially flip delivery. And then generally at least go for internal, or at the very least just start rushing through everything. But if you're going to get that type of LR trap, you need a somewhat of a far move. But I'm pretty inclined for them to say that they're just not going to waste this and they can run it back up. Again, especially with the time and the price of how much time you spent there. We did an LR Thursday, Friday, so we do LR back through Monday, Tuesday. So you're passing 4 days of time essentially for basically the exact same price. In this case, sweeping all the lows as well. So it's a very, very important thing to look out for. And just to see kind of what happens and goes from there. Especially UVXY. If vol wants to dump itself again, really no reason it can't start to be looking at least for this low. And going from there. Which would mean the market should rise on lower vol, if anything. So, yeah, and also just the aggressive move this was on NASDAQ itself on like a 3-minute. I am very, very much so open to the idea that they bought this. Or at least this is the first spot where they're going to buy. Because they got everyone to sell all Monday, all through Tuesday especially. So you can even do a mean low of the week, which I wouldn't be inclined for this low to be the low of the week. But if it is going to, you should have basically a soft retracement into X, Y, and Z, and then just to keep going. But like this breakaway wouldn't be touched. If you're gonna get that type of idea, and you get some type of retracement, really, you're gonna be looking at candles like that. This should be the trap here. So at the very, very least, a couple of these FEGs or anything like that to hold, and then going from there. So, or maybe this VIB, if it wants to be my favorite type of VIBs. But, we'll see. And go from there. But that is like the main idea on this. I know a lot of people want to be bearish, but that's the exact time to knock everybody out. Is there should be some type of move that once everyone hops in, they should be taken out, and then the move should go for it essentially. So, and even this is that same idea on like a larger time frame. If they're gonna balance a majority of this being all breakaway, then it really should just be tracements to here, and then can keep going. And again, set high of the week, and then do X, Y, and Z. Because this turtle itself was pretty good, so you do want to see kind of like all the patterns for that. Highs breaking the lows above the high, and all that good stuff. But same thing on NASDAQ. Just kind of rolling over, rejecting highs, breaking lows, all that good stuff. So, but for how aggressive of a move this was, would very, very much so be the meme too. just continue, honestly. Especially if they're gonna buy here, show this type of aggression moves and everything at buy here, and show at least a deep retracement. So, and oil, same thing, honestly. Like, this doesn't really need to be touched. This is kind of a balanced range I was going through. So really just trying to see if anything on these two down close wants to do something, and then continue back onwards. If the case is going to be they bought all of this, bought down here, running this low, and they're just, this is essentially the EO up through here, and to sit there. So, but that's a lot of scribble, so don't worry about it. But that's kind of like the main idea going in for right now. So, and no one else has probably said it. Not that no one else has said it, but it's against retail enough that the last 2 days people have been selling this, even though it turned the highs and everything like that. Most people weren't expecting this type of drop, especially disrespecting order blocks if they were trying to do that or anything like that. But that's exactly what allows for the internal runs to basically the R3 to continue, or the turtle swirl. So, but yeah, I will try to keep back up with more so like lessons. The recaps are good, I think, if there's something worth teaching from them. But I think it also depends on where you're at as a chart, or like an analyst as well. Like eventually you should do in the beginning by all means, daily recaps, but if you go for more advanced stuff, it'll be different. So, but other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.